There are actually 3 reasons that I celebrate. 1, life. 2, all survivors. 3 is data, and the data that will help people never to have cancer. The first 2 reasons are probably reasons you've all heard before. Life, hey, life's great. I love life. I like the simple pleasures in life. I like my books. I like my old movies. I like eating. No, let me take that back. Dining. I like dining. I love my friends. I love my husband. I love my home. I love my town. Hey, life is great. So yes, let's celebrate life. The second reason, all survivors, is another reason I celebrate. If you could just bottle all that attitude and all that strength from survivors that I've known, you could change the world. It is truly awesome. All survivors are awesome. Now, as far as the third reason, that one may take a little bit of explaining. Data, and all those who will never have to have cancer because of it. My first exposure to cancer was with my mother, Hilda. She was diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 53, my age today. She fought a very long battle with cancer. Ultimately, her breast cancer metastasized to her bones and to her other organs. On one brilliant Christmas morning, she passed. I was lucky to be there holding her hand. There's not a day that goes by still that I don't think of her and miss her still. Several years later, my niece Amber, at age 12, was diagnosed with a very rare form of ovarian cancer. Less than 9 months later, she lost her battle. She went through test after test, chemo, surgeries, radiation. She was the bravest little girl you would ever want to see. When she passed, it nearly killed us all. She was our angel after all. Still reeling from her diagnosis, Amber's diagnosis. A few weeks before Amber passed, my sister Connie was diagnosed with breast cancer. She fought the same battle as my mother, but ultimately her breast cancer metastasized to her bones and to her other organs as well. But the thing about Connie, she was this person who loved life. She had this infectious laugh. She could just draw you in, and I'm still there. I know what you're thinking. What a tragic family story. But looking at all these occurrences beyond the emotions and looking for pieces of data, there was a huge red flag, a huge family history red flag, and I looked at it as a piece of data. I took that data and I went a step further. I went and had genetic testing, the BRCA analysis test. When I got to the doctor's office, then it was confirmed. I had 3 mutations in my BRCA2. More data. But all this data saved my life, I think. I had a prophylactic double mastectomy and oophorectomy. The pathology on my breast tissue showed that I had the beginnings, atypical cells in both breasts. I'm celebrating data for obvious personal reasons, but there's data out there that could help everyone because of the American Cancer Society, because they are collecting data, and it's data that everybody can act on. For example, 1/3 of all cancers of Americans could be stopped if people would stop using tobacco products. We have new data about sunscreens and its effect on skin cancers. The American Cancer Society is ever collecting data. For example, the sister study. I have a friend actually who has just entered into the sister study. Her sister was diagnosed with breast cancer. She's going through a battery of questionnaires and providing information to the American Cancer Society so they can study links and hopefully provide some preventative information or some insight as to what the link is between sisters and cancer. I know that just having data or applying data is not the ultimate solution. I know that. But I think about how much we've learned in the last 20 years since my mother was diagnosed, and I just have to think it has to help. If I knew some of the things then that I know now, I know I could have helped more. So yes, I'm celebrating data. In addition to life and all survivors, I'm celebrating data and all of you who will never get cancer because of it. My story does not end with my survivorship. About 2 years after my surgery, my husband, Rick Bodson, Mr. I've never been to the doctor in my whole life, was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease. Well, any of you who've ever been a caregiver, let me just say it was the hardest job of my life, and data became my friend. It became my deep personal friend. And with the help of the American Cancer Society, I was able to not only research and learn more about Hodgkin's disease and lymphoma. I knew nothing about that type of disease. I knew about breast cancer, but not about lymphomas. I was able to do that. I was able to get data about treatments, about clinical trials, about drugs and possible reactions. Data became my friend. Now, I know data in this case would not have prevented the lymphoma. I've talked about prevention before, but it sure as heck helped us get through it all. We have so much data today. There's data everywhere. We call it the information age. Sometimes you have so much data, you feel like you're overwhelmed, especially if you get on the internet. One thing that the American Cancer Society can do for us, two things actually. One, they can help us validate the data, and two, they can help us navigate the data. Data. It saved my life through the genetic testing. I believed it helped save my husband's life, and it could save your life. A reason to celebrate? You bet.